Hey, mate, you there? Will it let you unmute?
Yeah, here we go.
Okay. We'll just give some people a moment to arrive.
Sounds good.
You want to give me some thoughts on the flow? Like,
Oh, just everybody sort of ambles in and we just begin with someone maybe who's been using the AI the most that you know of that may turn up. Tanya's should be coming and can't think of the name of the lady, the Israeli lady. Now I can't hear you.
I said Inbar is
Yeah, Inba. That's right.
um,
And
you got I think I got an email out to the database
I'll just check that I got that.
and I got a text out as well.
Oh, well done. Um, oh yeah, cool. Ethical use of AI in business. Oh, that's great. Yeah, very good.
In Tanya and Maureen are here, but there's a few people that'll take a little bit to get in, I think. And we'll check hey Maureen, check where they saw the reminders. Hey Maureen.
Oh
You
yeah.
Hey, it's Tanya. We'll just wait. We'll give her a little moment for a couple of others. We managed to get a couple of little things out today, so I'm just waiting to see who's coming back in. Can you guys unmute yourself, or have I got to do it?
I was busy talking away
Did
as usual. I was just saying hi to everybody.
Hey,
did you get a text message reminder for this as well, Maureen?
Yes. Yep. Got text many and 3 emails.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm getting there. Tanya, did you get a couple of did you get the reminder things?
Yeah.
Yep.
I
No, you're right. Go.
was just saying I got the text message.
Yeah. Yeah, that's working again now. Did you, Tanya? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a couple.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, we probably need to be a bit earlier in our reminders. But you would have got a Google Calendar reminder as well.
I don't think I get those.
The notifications were coming up on the website as well.
Yeah. So you're I think you're on the Google Calendar, Maureen, for this.
Could be.
You would be.
Oh, maybe one of these came from Google. No, that's a word entrepreneur. That's a word entrepreneur.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're on there. You're on the reminder. So now whenever someone joins our community now, it automatically invites them into the networking gatherings.
Yeah.
As well. We'll wait and see who's going to arrive though because I know Inbar wants to come and have a chat about this, and I think David. Where is he? I got a few apologies from a few people. Where are they? Well, it's only 6 parts. We'll give them another couple of minutes before we open up.
Okay.
Hmm. see who's written to me here.
Oh, Natalie's
And
link.
the link worked. Did you guys go straight to the Zoom link, or you went through the online gatherings?
I followed the email that I got, and it went join the group
Oh
as
yeah.
the
Oh
word
good.
entrepreneur, and then I got the Zoom.
Ah, yeah, cool.
Hi, Natalie.
No, hey, there she is. Cool, cool, cool.
Hello.
Hello. There's a few people away.
Oh,
Well,
a bit better.
this will be an endless topic.
Yes.
It's going to be cool to see the perspectives on it, you know, on what people, what the sharings are on this particular one. This will be a can of worms for the next couple of years or more. So look here.
That's fun. I've just been using it this afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah, classic. Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Just gonna run and get my headset.
Yeah, do that. We'll just
No worries, Natalie.
because I think there's like one or two other people that are trying to get in. 1 second, I'm going to text.
Mhm.
I'm also waiting for a delivery. Someone will knock at the door in a moment. All right, we can. We can kick off. Got my new ionizer. Have you guys seen this thing?
Yeah, I actually seen one recently. A friend of mine has one in his car.
It's bloody incredible. Like, it's amazing. I mean, I'm starting with good water because I've got. It's like bedrock spring water. And then you run it through this ionizer thing. It's incredible. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, beautiful. So there was a couple that I was waiting for that had just written back that can't make it for this one. Going to come to the following Tuesday one. Oh, here we go. Thanks, mate. Yeah. Thanks, mate. You're welcome. All righty. Martin, do you want to open the scope of what we're going to collectively discuss?
Well, I guess it's just around using AI creatively to serve your project. And I'm just fascinated to hear how everybody's been applying it and what they found most useful, what they found sort of frustrating or not worthy of effort.
Yeah.
And just
And I added the ethical.
yeah, and the ethical thing, I get is I think that's a great question, and that that's a question on a different level. But I'm sort of probably more interested in the creative side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could kind of wrap them in as
Yeah.
people share. You know, we could as
yeah,
we go
get
around and
thoughts on
collect
the ethical.
Yeah, the creative and ethical use, and just whatever wisdom we can ascertain from everyone that we can sort of pull in for insights. Yeah, on its use. I guess because everyone's going to have different experiences, use case scenarios, or implementations, or whatever, or knowledge of it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So maybe what we could let everyone sort of speak to it, and then maybe from there distill the key. What are the other thing too to be great to get, which we can do is, specific use cases or tools, that have been useful as well, or GTPs, or just whatever anyone's got that we can put some links in, and some like if there's certain tools that people have used or how they're playing with it or how they're experimenting with it, that'd be really cool as well. Beautiful. So who wants to, like, maybe we'll just kick off. We'll give everyone a chance to speak to their experience of it. I mean, maybe it'd be good to get first of all, get your thoughts and feelings around it before going into your creative use. Maybe we do that, thoughts and feelings around it in general.
Yep.
And then a bit on creative use. And then we could do a second round where it's like, well, what do each of us feel are the ethical implications, or what are our intuitions around that? So we sort of wrap with that. Could be really, really cool.
Yeah, I think that sounds good, Rich.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely an approach we can take. Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. Who wants to kick off? Who's got something in that space? Maureen.
Maureen.
I'm happy to kick it off, particularly because I don't have huge experience, so I don't have a whole lot to say. I'm sort of here more to pick up hints and tips is what I'm really looking for. In terms of tools, I've only really used ChatGPT, and I've used it to help me clarify my thoughts about things and help me with some processes. Like, we talked in my in the tribe about getting a marketing plan. So I go, give me a marketing plan for X, Y, and Z. Or I've even used it with my chakra course and going, give me an outline of each of the chakras and what are the key components. Because I was curious to use something like that that's a little bit alternative. I go, I wonder what ChatGPT's response to that would be. And I think with everything I've done, I've been pleasantly surprised at how much information there is and how useful it is. And the thing that I like it and I continue to use it for is thoughts about, oh, I forgot about that bit, or, oh, that's a good idea, right? But then I've used it for bits of my writing in my book, and I'll take a section and I go, oh, I know what I'm trying to say, but it's not coming out properly. And I'll go, oh, I'm trying to write blah, 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 blah. And I just give it a bit of stuff and I really just throw it in there, whatever way I've got it. And it's a bit jumbled and it'll come back and it'll sort it pretty good, but it almost cleans it up too much. A lot of the personal stuff's been taken out. And I go, you've given me a better flow, but I'm going to go back and put some of my brash statements in, or some of my, a bit out there, or it's a bit too this. But I went, that's what I want to say. I think you've got to just be careful about how you use it, but I'm a real novice at it. And as I was talking to Martin this morning, doing their testimonial, and I said, this is a little topic that I'd love to get my head around and get some good ideas in. So I am using it. I do like it. I think it's got its limitations, but it's got its pluses. And I just probably like to learn more. That's my little bit.
Yeah, good. Maybe so you're kind of, at the moment, it's more just that using basic ChatGPT, using it for these text cleanups, ideas, and some structural elements for the moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well summarized.
Yeah, there's some,
and maybe a little bit of research, like what you did with the chakras, like you were getting a bit of information off it as well. Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah. Natalie?
So what's the first bit?
Yeah, just your impressions so far, your feelings so far around it as a tool, and a basic some of the areas in which you've used it before we sort of go, before we can then go into specific use case scenarios, and then we can wrap with a slightly more ethical, philosophical kind of discussion.
Okay, I'm not a fan.
There you go. Not a fan. 3 words.
Not a
That's
fan.
pretty good.
Okay, yeah, I've got concerns. I mean, as a former public servant, I know a lot of things aren't new. It's just recycled.
Yeah.
So I understand that that's in some ways doing that, bringing things together and wrapping it up. So yeah, but where I'm looking from is bringing something new through. Okay, from my point of view, and then when I look at it from business points of view, I want to be able to go, well, I know this process at this point in time. I don't have the experience to say, well, this is a good idea, or this is a good process, or this is a good story for marketing. I don't have that skill base to make the assessment on what it's going to spit out at me.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So from a process point of view, part of the stuff I used to do in government was look at a process and just go, well, what's going on, and understand it before I can tweak it.
Yeah.
So when we were looking at upgrading the systems to record investigations for a starter, it was like, okay, step one is this system's not built to do this. What's my limitations on the tech side? Finding out that okay, this is my want, I can't do that. What can I do? And how's that going to look? So I want to understand things before proceeding, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
And like I say, the skill base for business, I don't know what works and what doesn't yet. So I need to be able to tweak it and get that experience and that knowledge myself to be able to make an assessment.
Before just sort of spitting it out.
Yeah.
Through getting it to spit out the model or the whatever, or regurgitate a collective knowledge base. Interesting. Yeah. So, but speak to because some of that goes over into the third round, which is the kind of the philosophical elements. But speak to in what ways have you used it now, or where have you used it, and what have you found with that so far?
I started to use it briefly last year, I think, for like a booklet on numerology. As a freebie little thing, or a $2, $1.99 stuff. What I found though is because the numerology I teach is so different from the Chaldean and the Pythagorean, that everything it gave me, while it sounded all interesting, didn't fit the system I work with.
Yeah, I'm getting you.
Because it's so different.
Yeah.
And in some ways I found it really challenging, so it got canned. Because it wasn't given, I wasn't able to use it for what I want, was to bring in that other emotional stuff, which those other two numerologies don't sort of really address in the same way. So it was sort of like it couldn't cross over, because the diamond light numerology is such a specialized technique, and the resources are very few. The only resources are available through the lady who channeled it. Yeah,
so quite a niche topic area that it doesn't have data bank on. Well, I mean, which is often the case with ChatGPT. It's going for large language learning. It's it's amalgamating predated information and trying to put it together.
Yeah.
Like that's advancing a bit now, but yeah, interesting. So you used it to play around with it here and there to do a few things. Didn't really feel you were getting what you wanted to get out of it, and so you're not kind of using it in any major way, and at the moment.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Beautiful. Tanya.
Yeah. Okay. Remind me of the question again. What do I use it for?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's your kind of your impression so far? Your feeling and your impression around it in general so far, and just some use case scenarios, examples. Yeah.
It's a bit of wind here, so excuse the banging. It's the doors and curtains banging. For me, so my first experience blew my mind, because I'm quite dyslexic, and for a learning disability growing up, it actually supported my thinking. So being a visionary entrepreneur, big picture person, I could just spit something out from my mind, even my heart and soul, and chuck it on into ChatGPT, tell ChatGPT to, you know, what to do with it. And it would write it as if I'd write it myself. Though when I first tried it before the algorithms, so there was some code of ethics around it when they first come out. So I started writing my like memoir or a book of like a true life story and from life events. And whenever I got to something that was true life, it doesn't do this now, but it still does to a degree. It would red flag me and the alarms would go off and say, oh, no, you can't do that. And like mandatory reporting. I was like, and then I had to tell it, no, it's not a true story. It's okay. It's a case study. And make up some stuff around it for it to accept anything personal, any emotional contribution that connected to a personal story. It completely rejected. It didn't know what to do with it, didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
Though I found a way around that now. So in ChatGPT, it has this memory of, I think it's 1,000 words. And in the memory, so like you would trademark your product, this is actually really cool to know. If you set up your principles, your trademark, your ethics, your vision, your mission, your purpose, and all those things into the memory of ChatGPT, even your bio, your characteristics, your personality, your wants, your desires, whatever it is, put it all in there as crystal clear as you possibly can, as much as you can condense it all in. And it memorizes that and it will actually write everything to your character or personality or your desire, your vision. Though I'm with Maureen, you still need to go if you want something personal and more presently fulfilling in who you are, or something you're working on right now that ChatGPT, like, because the algorithm and the database is all quite globalized to fit, whoever wrote it is fitting their own structure for a global perspective.
Yeah.
If you want it for a demographic, such as like politics, I love it. So I was in social welfare. So if I wanted to write a business plan for a social enterprise, I knew, this is the key part about anything with legal litigation or politics or whatever, and government NGOs, whatever you want to call it. Once you know the structure and the system of what an agency has to have, what it has to principally deliver on, even ethically, which you can get from your organization. So what I did is I would take that information and tell ChatGPT on what I need it for and to repurpose it so it's updated to the latest ethical standard. And if it can't do that, I would research what I needed, tell ChatGPT, no, this is what needs to go in there, now deliver on that, and it would every time. So you just got to know how to use it. I love it, though futuristically, I do agree with it will eventually. I'm really concerned about my own stuff because as an entrepreneur and a visionary, this is the other part about you have to, if you're not paying for the paid version, pay for the paid version because you have a chance of protecting your work. I've even asked ChatGPT how it would protect my stuff, I've asked it to trademark to a basic so that it can't be stolen within ChatGPT. So everything that I've created, even though ChatGPT has helped me create it, it still belongs to me.
Yeah.
Until, to a degree.
Yeah.
But I've also wondered,
Interesting.
because I've even asked it that whatever we're putting in, it's storing away. So then how does it protect your information? So the more that we offer it, this is where ChatGPT, because it was free, the more that people offer it, the more it's going to take that information, keep it stored away for a later date. And it's just like connecting all the dots. And it's going to give, like I've noticed with coaches and entrepreneurs in the same market, they're actually spitting out now the same similar stuff in business and marketing and digital marketing as what I've created on my own stuff from ChatGPT. So now I'm thinking, oh, this is getting a bit dangerous now. So where's that stuff come from in the first place? Because it wasn't able to search the web before.
That's right. Yeah. It's still it's a bit limited, but yeah, that's right. It can be.
Yeah. So, yeah.
We'll play with it tonight as well. We'll do a couple of play rounds.
Yeah. So there's ways of setting it up to make it worthwhile that's direct and individual to your needs.
Yeah, in the settings for the there's a panel of that you can do. We can do some playing around. We can screen share and do some test modeling and some ideas. So I mean, I guess how often do you use it? Does it fluctuate?
I can use it up to 3 hours a day.
Yeah, right.
Some days I won't. I write. So I have a few secrets up my sleeve where I've previously followed other entrepreneurs or visionaries similar to me and modeled them. So if you've got some great models of professionals within your field that are doing something well, you can actually regurgitate or repurpose. This is where we're taught to climb on the shoulders of giants to a degree, which is what you do to succeed. But then I formulate that to my own stuff. So there's always, like, because you're your own personality and your own experiences, what I believe what will last is so we're gonna end up with, I don't know, probably 60% of this regurgitated, repurposed stuff, like you'd go to a library and everyone's picking whatever they want off the shelf.
Yeah.
Though it's the personalized stuff, which I think will have a lasting indent. It's when you are able to share your insights or your entrepreneurial philanthropist skills or whatever, that's where the swap happens. That's where so I've created futuristic visions that are way out of this world. And I didn't think ChatGPT would actually get on board with me to do. And it's actually championing me on creating that. I don't know how I'm going to fulfill it, but it's actually partnered with me in that system. It said it's a partner. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, whatever you reckon. But I know I can't do it without it.
Yeah.
Oh,
You can have as much fun with it as you like. I suppose it's great for creative minds and not getting stuck in the jargon. Try not to get stuck in the jargon. The jargon's just going to be outdated. This is the good thing about with ChatGPT. All these things that were jargonized and created for political agenda, for someone's own, agenda without substantial evidence to back it, all that's just going to disappear, because it's like a strainer when you're going panning for gold. Eventually all the gold's going to stick around and the shit's just going to fall to the wayside. That's my perspective on it.
Interesting. Yeah. Wow, that's cool. Because we can do a couple of rounds, because we can kind of go where we think it's going, what we think some of the ethical implications are. But that's cool. You've dived in a bit, you played with it a bit, and done some vision modeling and stuff like that. Maybe we can have a look as well. Like I said, I can share screen. We can have a little bit of look at some of the settings and the different things that we can play with as well, and just some of the different. Are you using GTPs much, or are you more just sticking in the main area?
There's a lot of other tools that I've people have shared with me, or other groups that I'm only starting to investigate.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with all those, they're all these extra little systems on the side that you buy into. Like, there's so many of them, subscriptions that do the one thing.
Yeah.
Or like video editing or photoshopping, or even there's Bookwrite. There's so much out there.
Yeah, the custom GTPs, where people are kind of just taking the core element, putting a GTP and a subscription on it, and sort of training it to do a specific thing. There's some that are brilliant, and some that are just people being opportunistic. Like there's a couple of classic. You can see they come out of like Indian developers. They've like released 5,000 GTPs, and they're like $5 a month each, and they're all these random names. Like, it just as a blanket business model that you can sign up for, that says it does this specific thing, but it can be very difficult to find the custom GTPs and the custom stuff that's really, really good. That can be tricky.
Then again, with those developers, they deliberately put tools out there like that to then collect data and information from the people, and then they use that for their development project.
Exactly. It's like a blanket subscription model, like
a blank canvas,
and it does one little tiny thing. It's like $5 a month, and it does this one thing, and then people just don't sort of think about it. They search and they sign up for it and all the rest of it. So it can be tricky. There's going to be a lot of time, people are going to have to learn, where and what to use, but it's tricky. It's moving so fast.
Yeah.
Martin, do you want to share a bit? What have you done?
Yeah.
What have you tried?
My experience is limited to mainly just writing, similar to Maureen. I've used ChatGPT. There's a particular one called My Own Writing, something like that, which is one of the GTPs that I found was better than the standard ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And then I've also used what's called Claude Sonnet 3.5, which is their latest. Claude is another AI, a bit like ChatGPT, but it doesn't have all the it's just a language model. It doesn't have the visual generators and things like that. And I find the Claude Sonnet AI really good to work with. So far, I've used it just a few times, and I'll tend to take that and then edit it and adapt what it comes up with.
Yeah.
Because there's a tendency for it to fall into some sort of generic or stylistic sort of conformity, and it'll flatten ideas out, and it will and it'll tend towards but like you were saying, is that I think it's good in terms of helping to get a structure to things, because that's useful, and to, in a sense, as a way of sort of editing ideas, like taking a written piece and processing it into maybe something that's more condensed, or processing it into an email format, or it's useful for those sort of tasks. But I just find and also it will respond to sort of creative guidelines as far as using particular stylistic or I'll reference authors or things like that. Just and I've seen it respond really quite well to referencing if it's a non-fiction author that I like, that I want it more in the vein of, and I found that useful. So that's I mean, that's fascinating. I mean, like what you're talking about, Tanya, is sort of on a whole nother level. And that sounds very fascinating. This idea of building, in a sense, your own profile inside of it, around sort of creating an avatar of who you are. So then it can take it on and write from that perspective. I think that's a radical idea. That sounds amazing.
Maybe we'll get you to sort of show where, like, some of the areas, like the settings or whatever, if you can, of where, where people can set that up in a little while, because we'll do like a show and tell as well. Like we'll go around and play and have a muck around. That's cool, Martin. Yeah, so that's interesting you bring up Claude. Claude is by far, at the moment, the best one in terms of being open enough to be able to train it more in your, like, I think I know what Tanya's talking about. It's the settings in ChatGPT you can go into and modify, but I'll get her to clarify that in a bit. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But Claude's a whole nother level. You can go a lot further with how.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but then there's another one. So.
Oh, okay.
It gets crazy. So I'll do a bit of show and tell before I go into my use case scenarios as well, because this is going to be cool to keep. And it's funny, it comes down to the tribe. So there's two new potential clan members. Not sure which clan. Obviously, our hummingbirds, there's one seat available there, but there's a lady potentially coming in, and also looking at using the COS system that we do, the LinkedIn marketing, and they do AI persona consulting. She does that.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah, so she's a certified AI consultant, right? For generating your own personality. So, for example, with you, Natalie, you could feed everything into it about the diamond, all the stuff that ChatGPT doesn't know and doesn't have. You feed it all, but all in relation to you. It's pretty damn good. Like, so they use Claude to do that.
Yes.
And these people are sort of certified, trained in these methodologies. So she's an interesting lady, as I said, likely to be in the tribe relatively soon. And then what that can do is it can then the ChatGPT will do what Tanya was saying, like it'll create content and posts of things that you need, but much more centric to you and way beyond what ChatGPT can do just through updating its, giving it a bit on your personality. Yeah. I'll let you know more about her. And potentially you guys will meet her when she comes in. So
right.
Yes. And then there's another gentleman I've met who's an Australian developer who's potentially coming to the tribe and using our COS thing, that have taken that even further, where it's a tool that you can completely, it can become you. It's crazy. You can train this thing so much and so far and so deep into your life story, history, personality, everything. It's crazy. It's just crazy. And then it will create content, as close to home as you could possibly get.
Wow.
But take Claude even further. And so that sort of leads us into the ethical discussion, because because it's kind of like, where does that go? But we won't go there yet. But just so you guys know that getting the AI to know more your tone and what you're doing with your business is kind of really, so there are ways to do that. Tanya, did you want to speak briefly to your, like with ChatGPT, elements of the settings for that? Is that in back-end settings?
So it's not really settings as such. I'm just going to pull it up and find it.
Yeah.
So I know I set mine up. I don't know where I did. Oh yeah, maybe over here. Oh, customize ChatGPT in the top right hand.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll share my screen. I'll show you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll find one.
You'll have to give me permission to share.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think.
Oh,
no, I've got it. All good.
Okay. Should be. Oh, great.
Yeah, you are.
So in mine, so I'd like ChatGPT to use key language concepts. These are my own custom instructions. And
where did you click on to get that pop up?
So just one moment. So it's in to
under your profile, yeah.
Customize ChatGPT.
Yeah, I see. Great. Excellent.
And then it has everything. My key language concepts, how I manage and collaborate various delivery modes, leadership development, what I do as a coach counselor. So I put a lot of my resume content in here as well, career highlights. I should probably sell this.
Yeah.
I know people that do this. They actually sell this.
Wow.
So I wrote with another client, not a client, I worked with him, another coach. And it was just questions. So this is an onboarding form and it's just like my bio. So professional bio.
Yep.
And what describe your role in the lives of people you work with.
Yep.
And then, so once I went through this, you can actually get samples. It's similar to what the Claude, the person that was doing.
Yeah.
This is how they do it.
Yeah.
So, and it's all just questions around personality, characteristics, personal life stuff. But you've got to know what questions to ask.
Yeah.
And then this is, then from that, I adapt this and update it, and then I put it in my memory.
Yeah, which it's got a limited, it's got a tone. Yeah. So then with Claude, you can kind of do that, but like at whole deeper, further level, like in the settings of
okay, yeah.
the master accounts of the Claude one. It goes.
Oh, that's great. Well, thanks, Tanya. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's super cool.
That's really useful.
Personalization, it's good.
It's not always show code when using data analyst. No, I don't want that. There's a section in here where it tells you how much memory you have left in personalization. Yeah, so here it is. So in personalization, which is in settings, this is my memory of all the things that I do. So these are all the bits. I'm a leadership coach who inspires growth mindsets. So this is all written by me, and even the demographics. So I've worked in schools, blah blah blah. My programs, products. So it memorizes all this. So whenever I write something, it takes all this into account and puts it into what I create.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's a really powerful element, and then I mean, as a starting point, that's a good one. Like playing with things like that in GTP, because a lot of people are using that or the free version. And then if you want to go further, you go into those other things like the Claude and its AI persona coding, and then find specialization tools that can go even further, which it does help, because then at least it's spitting back stuff that you at least feel is more informed and more kind of tonality and closer to the mark.
So for Maureen, if you, as for psychology aspects, you would chuck. So if you focused on CBT or positive psychology, I've chucked positive psychology in mine.
Yeah.
So, modalities that I'm focused on
Yeah.
or that I support. Same with I did a lot of Stephen Covey stuff. I would ask it to. So if you named it wouldn't give you their material as such, like Stephen Covey. I has 4 quadrants of something that I used, but I'd ask it to reflect that in my own language, my own concepts, whenever I wrote something.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one because and that's why it's fun to play around with the different tools as well, because they have different, they've got different boards of directors and all the rest of it. I saw a funny thing. I saw Joe Rogan type into GPT, tell me a little bit about what's her name, the lady that's taken over from Joe Biden, and it was like
Kamala Harris.
Yeah, and it did. Did you see that?
No.
And ChatGPT went, she's an amazing figure that's really, worked her way up through social work and done an incredible amount for the community. And then he went and typed in, like, tell me a bit about RFK Jr. or Donald Trump, and it just came back. Unfortunately, ChatGPT is not authorized to discuss political topics.
Oh, wow.
It's like, it was Joe Rogan, he's
Yeah, there's no question.
So like that, just straight down.
You have to steer away from anything in that sort of region because you're not going to get anything balanced or.
That raises the question too of where else is it restricting?
Well, that's all part of. That's why it's like the awareness thing, right? Like as aware entrepreneurs, we look at these tools and these technologies, and we expand our awareness so we have appropriate usage, and we can find ways to play with tools and use them in a way, being aware, that there's all these other elements at play.
I mean, it's a bit like using a Microsoft computer. With Bill Gates being a massive part of it. It's
all part of
using.
It is the world we live in.
It is. We've just got to,
you've got to
take everything with a grain of salt and just be careful. To not swallow the bones.
Yeah. I was talking to my IT advisor guy last week, and he was showing me. He said, "Oh, you need a chat thing, so that if people want to book an appointment or have a chat with you and stuff like that, and they've got questions." And I said, "Well, I can't really do that because if I'm seeing clients, to me, if you're going to have a chat, you need to be able to answer it within 30 seconds. Otherwise, what's the point?" He said, No. We'll set you up with an artificial chat thing. So it's a whole AI. It sounds very like that when you're talking about, and you give it all your standard information, and it'll be able, like all your FAQs kind of thing, and then it'll automatically answer everything for you, and you can refine that to the nth degree, or at least be able to answer a couple of basic questions, and then say, as soon as Maureen's available, I'll get her to give you a call. You can put as much effort into it as you like, and I thought it just opens up those possibilities for people. It's really good.
It's an interesting. I'll show a little bit of something we've been working on. Again, it's about finding, because there's 1,000 different ways to do that, right? There's thousands of different AI chat things that you can install on your website of all different varying types. What I tend to look for and find is I like to get to the source. I like to find out who the CEOs and the founders are of the technology. So, for example, with Mighty Networks, the platform that we use, I researched her, like Gina Bianchini. I contacted her directly. I got an understanding of who she is as a person, what her ethic values are, why she built the company, what's the tech built on, what's the long-term company vision, before we decided to start with that as a platform. So that's another thing in Entrepreneur is kind of, understand the source, often, and what the things, what they actually do. And we've been playing with a tech that does that. But from a sales team point of view, but it's pretty crazy what this thing will do. It'll, it's a full person. It becomes a full person. It becomes a salesperson in your company, and it will email and text. So it's like what you're talking about there, Maureen, but a whole another level where it's trained. We've got this thing so that it'll book in your calendar, it'll move around, there's some crazy stuff that you can do with these tools and with these technologies. But I think it comes back to why do we want to do it? What's the end result? What's the drive? What's the underlying, motivation, or what's the outcome going to be? But I tested this thing with a guy, and I've got the email chain still. And he contacted me, said, because I've been chatting to him as well. And he goes, I really like David. He's very enthusiastic, super casual. I told him that I was already dealing with you, that I'm going to do the sale with you. So he's having a conversation with another guy he believes is my sales guy called David on email, right? To the point where he's ringing me saying, hey, tell David, love you, you're a nice guy. But I'm already working with Rich. I'm already doing, he's already doing sales. And then I had to say, well, look, by the way, David doesn't exist. And he was like, you're joking me. And that's the stuff that can get tricky where, it's like, how far do we want to go down that rabbit hole? Like, and yeah, where do we sort of draw the lines? And that's an interesting discussion within this topic as well. Some of the stuff that I think's practical and useful, though, definitely is like the GTP. There are some really, really good ones in here, right? Ones that can really. So the Right For Me one, that one's solid.
Yeah, that was the one. Yeah,
it's actually tried and true. It's pretty damn good. And just knowing which tools to use for what purpose, and playing around with them. But in terms of just GTP usage itself, learning, it's kind of like you, Tanya, you've kind of learned the art of how you got to know how to tell it what you want it to do, and then you got to build on it, layers upon it, right? So it's like the way to use it, the best way is to treat it like it is. It's a machine. So it's like, create me a summary, now refine this, now take what you've refined and add this, now bolt on, you know what I mean? And you build your creative process over the top and use it to distill and refine. So that can be really helpful, Natalie, as well, is like you build out the prompting step by step to get your end result, of how you really want it to be. So that's kind of just, ChatGPT, that's creating documents and doing the rest of it. But the stuff that we're playing with, is like, full on, like I said, like where it's talking, it's way beyond GTP. It's an AI that's actually running our soft CRM for us, right? So it's managing our sales process, responding to people, booking. That's another level, right? When you start getting the AIs to be doing the work and taking over, the roles and stuff like that. That's kind of the next level of it. In our, in this space here, I feel comfortable within the sales space because we be transparent about it. People know what it is that it's, what it is that it's doing, and you can kind of, there's a reason for it, right? It's supporting a process. It's supporting a sales process. It's got, you're delivering a good service. You're kind of bolting on this as a tool. But so that's kind of my approach. It's like, what's the thing I need to achieve? And then how can I use the AI to kind of plug into that process, where it's, it's got an applicable sort of use case. That's how I often think about when we're going to not just simply using it because we could, replace our copywriters who've been with us for years just because we can. So instead of doing that, as an aware entrepreneur, I'll go back to our copywriter and I'll say, look, we could replace you at 1/10 of the cost, but we won't. We'll get you to master this process of prompting and scaffolding your prompts and doing that. And you will still manage it, but you'll come up to another level and you'll manage the tool. So all of a sudden, Regine, our copywriter for 5 years, who we could technically replace, pretty well overnight, but she's been with us forever. She can be then trained to use the tool and the technology within our systems to be much more effective. Examples like that. That's kind of where I feel we're going to have to go with it, because it won't be just because you can, just do it just because you can. That's my sort of gut feeling on it. But the spaces I'm playing within is in the sales and marketing space, obviously, because that's a part of what we do. And in a very practical sense, as you guys know, we have this LinkedIn service, which is how we met you guys. We wanted a way that people could then be communicated to outside of LinkedIn and followed up automatically and have all that stuff done, appointments booked, and communicate with people and move people around in the CRMs and stuff like that. It's pretty crazy what it'll do. Like, it'll go through my entire calendar for a month in advance, and anyone who hasn't confirmed their meeting with me, it'll email them very politely. Hey Natalie, I see you've got a call with Rich on the 27th of September. It's booked in, but I just noticed you haven't clicked confirm yet. Just want to check on you. Right. Stuff like that. So that's got a practical use and can be used. And then you go to the other extremes where I've seen one of the largest kind of male business mindset coaches using it for all client delivery, for full on life coaching and sensitive stuff, which I just feel is way out of whack. And calling it the voice, not quite going as far as calling it the voice of God, but alluding to that and saying, look, this is the voice, and people, like you guys are paying, a monthly fee to come to Clan Work and get this deep, reflective, humanistic container and all the rest that comes with it. Imagine paying 2 to 3 times that, and all you've got is a platform you log into and chat to this AI. That's it. Do you know what I mean? And you're kind of under the impression that that's your connection. That's where I think the lines are going to get blurred. Like kids in their bedroom having a far more extensively deep relationship with an AI because they've got AI friends now. So if you're struggling at school, if you're struggling in society, you're feeling alone, you can have an AI friend. So that's where I think it goes to. That's sort of the scope. So
that's the sort of dystopian direction that
it's got
there's powerful incentives, financial incentives for all of that to be developed, and I'm sure it already is. But I guess there's always pitfalls. I know there were plenty when I was young.
Yeah.
And there's plenty now. And hopefully people sort of survive long enough to learn enough to realize that that's what they are. They're pits. They're not some way out or some way to some utopia. It's just a deep dark hole that might have a few bright lights at the beginning.
Yeah. This lady...
And I mean, such is the world as it's always been. I mean, but the fact it can all be personalized and all can be, highly tailored to someone and really focus in on their psychological weak points and manipulate them. I mean, that's like the gambling technology, in poker machines, or it's in social media, it's in pornography, and all of those things. It's designed to create sort of addiction to create some sort of just building connection to the point that the user becomes a commodity.
Yeah, which is a lot of that stuff is sort of built on. I mean, now, like the lady from the AI Persona Code, she did a test with that where they set it up for her. She set it up for her daughter. She's 15, submitted a major final year assignment, because the schools now have an AI tool that they feed all the assignments through.
Yes.
Which detects whether or not an AI has written it or not.
Resumes now.
Yeah, but that hers got through because of the AI Persona Code, like how well they trained the Claude model. It beat the other AI. But then what will happen is then the detection AI will advance. And then this is the kind of interesting, like, for example, now when you post a LinkedIn post that you've generated on ChatGPT, other people can see that it was ChatGPT because the LinkedIn AI goes, that was GTP. Yeah, and you've got to get better and better at, crafting the personalized elements. So it's going to be really, really interesting. And I feel, though, it's going to increase the value of what we're experiencing right now, of human relating, right? It's actually going to
absolutely human connection is going to become more and more valuable.
Scarce is what it's going to become.
No, then saying that, I don't do this, but I tried a dating site for 3 weeks, a global one, and the profiles, you could tell they were AI altered, but I couldn't tell if they weren't all. And then I come across some profiles that you could actually have real conversations with them, and you knew they weren't fake, but they had used the fake ones to generate attraction. And then even if you started a conversation with one of those profiles, you could I tested it because there was so I had voice recordings from one person. I tried to take the actual company because it was all falsified. I could prove, but then I deleted the account, so I didn't have proof. They wanted me to prove to them that it was AI generated, but I couldn't get back onto the account to prove it. So they got my money. They had one profile. It had 2 recorded recordings, verbal to me, from 2 different accents. So it wasn't the same. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Right. And then you could see, like, they had the little AI launch airplane and certain things in the chats, and I was like, oh, this is AI all over. Then they had, and then the real profiles, you could pick them a mile away because they're either computer geeks. No offense to them, but it was shocking. And then I thought, well, this is the other side of AI now, where it's now being used for everything that you got to be smart enough and be wise enough. I'm thinking this next generation, like my daughters use dating sites. How are they going to know? Like, I've had a lot of girls saying you just know now. But then what's the use of having it? I suppose this is where the garbage goes out the door. Eventually, people are going to figure it out and not stop using. You'd think. Then again, you just don't know.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's where the pendulum swings. Like it's
experience.
It's man, we're in such an interesting time.
Yeah. I mean, the ability to.
So the conversations I was having were like, I had added my values, like, because I'm always looking for a values match. So we were having these deep conversations, and I was with my sister-in-laws one night having a few drinks, and we're kicking ourselves laughing because we're testing it to see what it would come back. And they were saying, these girls were saying, we've never had a conversation like that with a man in our entire life. There's not a chance.
That's right. There's no way. It's like, quick, go into the settings. Like they're probably gone into their ChatGPT memory log and like quick grab all the.
Well, that was the other thing. They were using ChatGPT to give the answers so they could answer the questions for the women in order to make themselves look good.
Yeah.
Classic. So that's the thing, I guess.
Crazy.
Where's the pendulum? Where's the appropriate use? And some practical things from tonight, like, that's
Sorry, I'm just gonna laugh.
It's going to have the answer for everything. So, but I also wanted to show you here one other thing when I was talking about quickly with the Stephen Covey. So I actually had a bored moment one night because I couldn't afford my psychologist or counselor any longer. I actually got ChatGPT become my mentor. So I said that's a little fun then. From previous discussion, let's create a collaborative agreement by working together, yeah? And then I told it what I wanted. So I put in my privacy and individuality, algorithmic training, avoiding conflict of interest, algorithm sharing with, so I put in a summary and told it what to do, AI interactions and collaborative relationship with Tanya Tori. And it helped me build it out. So we set the scene first. And then I told it so I used a bit of Stephen Covey, like one of my principles.
Yeah.
My principles to success. Habit 7, sharpen the sword. I even gave it the link. And then what I think, how I think, so my mindset. And then, and then it spits out the collaborative relationship with Tanya Tori, systematic thought process. So based on Stephen Covey and the 7 principles of success. And then we get into, now I've got into the deep stuff. I said a great start though. I wish for you to consider the above check-ins as if you are having a real relationship with me as a partner. Check in on the milestones and catering to the stages of the milestones, blah, blah, blah. And then reminded them what the milestones are for me, like focal points, and then it spat it out again. So you just keep doing that until you get what you want.
That's right. But see how it's very derivative. So you're giving it, but it's just restructuring and reordering the information and pulling on the language pool to do it, right? That's the limitation of it. It's like it's good at doing that.
You've just got to keep sowing seeds, like. This is where your bio stuff comes in, philosophy, what you do, but then look at this. This is the affirmation manifestation that it gave me. So I asked it to write me the first thing, a personalized affirmation and mindset manifestation for me based on the notes I gave it.
Yeah. Is that how you would speak, do you think? Not quite, hey. Like it's got the concepts and the structure, but not the vibe, I don't reckon. Like it's got the elements, but it's funny. Every time I get it to like it has the elements, but it doesn't quite have it's kind of what you said, Maureen. It's kind of like, but it's not quite my.
You've got your own voice, your own flavor.
Yeah, that's why it's a challenge to sort of, get it to do those things.
Yeah.
The thing we played with, which I'll try to find this conversation, is it's actually this sounds really stupid. This sounds really fun, ironic. So we're using a really highly customized, super advanced AI external AI that we can train, manipulate, and feed to plug into our CRM to do the sales stuff. And here's the catch: we're teaching it to not behave like AI.
Yeah.
We're teaching it to make spelling mistakes, use casual language. Like we're having to train it to be be more casual in its language, like
less articulate.
Yeah, all of that, because that's where is this guy? Luke, it was Luke Overton or something. What's his name? Not in Is it in that pipeline? No, it's in the AT pipeline. I think it's in here somewhere. Oh no, it's in the RT digital. Let's see if we can find this thing. Oh, should be in here.
Look,
Oh.
Alshin on the left. Yeah.
This guy. So let's have a look at this thing. So okay. So I'm engaged the sales prospect, right? I'm already on the, I'm talking to him on text message and I'm having some Zoom calls. But what happened was the team accidentally switched on our sales AI, like it's in beta. We're in beta testing. So he hadn't confirmed and actually written back, yes, I'm definitely going to come. So David has written this very, it seems it might have been a mix up with the meeting. Like even stuff like that. Like instead of going, we notice you haven't confirmed your booking. Do you want to, do you know what I mean? It's like there might have been a mix up with the meeting. Are you still interested in going ahead? Discussion. He's written back. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad we're diving to boost your marketing. But should we reschedule for a better time? Cheers, David. He's writing back that he started, to me, he's having a simultaneous conversation. He's letting me know what he's saying to the AI and what the AI is saying back.
Oh, right.
And how this thing was communicating. He went on to have this quite big conversation with it, where in the end it got there. It was like, okay, I know we are. Here's the time slots that Rich has got available. What works to book in? Then he started having a conversation about not having much time. And it offered him, do you want to just communicate through email or do you want to go on text message? So he's been talking to it because he wants to get it. But it's crazy because you kind of, it's almost like you have to kind of think, you have to think how it would think and then reverse engineer its thinking.
Yeah. Which
is the human element that sort of comes in. But you got to find custom tools for it. So the engine that we're using for that, for example, is built on pretty much, it's like an entire chat GTP purely based in sales psychology. It's got every single thing from in the history of sales psychology built into it, custom built. And the guys who built it are pretty cool and pretty, but it's just a beast to use and to get working. But that's my recommendation, is that you get, number one, get clear on why you want to use it, where the specific outcome is, and then you can start looking at implementation models and how you can sort of build on it. Is
there anything that you would recommend if you're not using it, you should be doing this and this as the basics? Well,
you're kind of doing that, I feel, in the things that you're doing for your use case scenario. Yeah. It comes down to how far. For example, I can deploy an AI in our community. Yeah. That will talk back to people, write posts and all the rest of it. But we've decided against that. Because, or what we'll do is be completely transparent about it. We'll go, hey, check this out. This is a purpose-built, custom-built Awarepreneur AI that Martin and I have put love into, fed it everything we know and learn about the model and all of our experiences. We've fed it every transcript from, so it understands what the hell's actually going on. It's an AI. Just use it because it's kind of like an amazing resource bank.
Yeah.
So you could do, like, for example, that voice guy, he's gone way up, instead of just being transparent, going, look, you're chatting to an AI. I've fed amazing stuff into it. It's fully branding and selling it as the end-all solution. And people are getting in, treating it as their counselor, as their mentor, when it can never do that. But you could build things in where it's like, look, you've got the book, you've got the program, and I've got an incredible resource library that's built into an AI that can discuss a whole range of different topics. It'll never be me.
Yeah.
But it's got what I can give you at a click fingers. And then you can come and speak to me. So that's where I think some of the appropriate use of this stuff will be, and Tanya raises an.
It would be useful. Be useful as a supplementary tool alongside of whatever it is you're offering. Or it could be a low-level offer as an introductory offer.
Yeah. I mean, I like using it as just some marketing support and with some writing support.
Yeah.
At least
That's
and
still
with that, you
really
can-
useful. I've found it useful for writing support. Yeah, especially around sort of complex information that needs to be put into some sort of structure. I found
that's
that
great.
useful. I can do that, but it takes me a while to chew something over to break it down. Whereas it's having that to do it, it's really, it's sort of instant. It's so fast. What blows me away is
how
how
fast it
does
is.
things.
Incredible.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I think a great tool for the future that we need is to get rid of email and have a AI email collector where it's catalogs and sources and Slate goes through your emails
An
and
email manager.
based on
That's a great idea.
Well,
That's a brilliant
Crap.
idea.
How many emails it's done with AI now?
Yeah.
Everything's with AI. It's just constant. You're just like,
Yeah. It's tricky. Yeah. That's that's a thing too. I mean, for example, all the major platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, blah blah blah. You can implement AI chatbots into the direct DMs. LinkedIn's the only platform you can't, and they never will, because they're like, well, this is sacred ground. If you get a personal, you can automate, you can send a connection request and then send like a little message after the connection. Even that they're stamping out now, but they're sort of, they're not allowing the API in so that can happen. So it's got to be human one way or another, right? So like assisted AI, for example, when we do LinkedIn outreach, it's all human, right? It's a full-time human being running it. And they've learned everything they can possibly learn about you, your business, or the rest of it. But then we're also using the AI to support that from outside. That's been trained even more and done even more. So the thing is that it's like find the gap where it can be used, but don't bridge the gap. It's kind of that's been my take on it. It's like, where's the gap I can use it for, but it's not like it's not gonna. Because Tanya raised something. Tanya, when you said you started to notice that it's spitting out, like you started, like I'm seeing it too now on LinkedIn, like it's like, where's that that pretty much, they're all kind, you know what I mean? The different business consultants and stuff, because you can see that they're kind of pushing that content through, which is why that lady, she's onto something with that AI persona thing. At least there'll be some fairly significant differentiation in that. But that's going to see what's going to happen is that we're going to have to get better at bringing our gifts, our actual humanistic, elevated gifts into what we're doing, and we're going to have to present that more, because it's like, well, I can go to ChatGPT and get that done.
Yeah.
So
it's a great opportunity for us, though, because the more that everybody starts to conform and it all just becomes this, the middle of the hump, it all becomes bland and same and conforming and stuff. So if you've got a little bit of personality, you can shine.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and people will be looking for that.
Yeah.
So with that is we'll have to start like fine-toothing, like when it comes to your share. Say, for example, if I'm writing an article on my experience of, okay, I've written one on narcissism, I've written one on trauma bonding, energy within the body, stored energy within the body, that sort of thing. So if I ask it very general questions or information without adding my own experience or personal takes on that, including educational concepts, it's just another piece of read that nobody else is going to be interested in. Like, there's numerous ebooks coming out now like that, of regurgitated and people are making money off. I've been watching, so I've started researching all the digital marketer, freelancer, like I'm just following them, hundreds of them. There's so many of them now, all on how they're making money online. And so now you can get this AI scanning app and you can take it into a bookstore, tell it what the book is, scan the front page or the back page or whatever, and then get paid to upload it into some other, I don't know if it's, don't know exactly where it is, but you're getting paid to upload the book into some other Amazon or portal because they're wanting all the books to go on, I don't know, into this thing.
Yeah, that's right.
There's so many opportunities now where you can make money from being a digital creator.
Exactly, but there's the why, because what that is there is a human just trying to find a way to quickly access money for, this is for example,
and they're selling that idea.
Yeah, that's right. And there's so much of this stuff. I know someone who's got a young son, extremely brilliant tech engineer, comes from a family line of that Russians, software engineer. And he built a system that I told Martin about it, which would write and produce and upload up to 200 or 300 songs to Spotify per day. So it would create the entire songs and the music, the entire thing, upload it to Spotify. And with Spotify, the way it works is you get a little bit of royalties from every play. So every time a new one goes up, just the sheer volume of the songs going up was creating a passive income, like 10 grand or something, more than an artist would get. Because, at one artist, you need to get, 100,000 plays to get any credits out of the thing. But if you're uploading 500 songs a day to your profile, they only need one spin, or two spins, but he ended up, and so he was building this and it was starting to work and all the rest of it. But the entire point of it was just to work out how to get passive income to be spat out. In the end, ended up in catatonic depression and ultimately psychosis and isolation, from being a super creative musical person. So this is where, we can pivot now into the next side. We've got some tools and tips and tricks and some stuff there. And I think we can easily share some links. But now we could have a little tiny round about where we feel some of the just where it could kind of go, not just good, not just bad, right? Good and good, amazing and not amazing. But that's
one. I'm gonna have to apologize. I'm gonna have to go.
You got to go. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to go and sort out dinner. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
See you, Maureen.
Just in brief, it'd be cool to hear from you two what your gut feelings are on that. And like my sense is that it has the ability. I feel it has the ability to drain the brilliance and the creativity out of people, and get them doing stuff just for the sake of doing it. That's my concern and my potential with it, right? So, like that kid, I saw the whole story unfold. It's like, it sounds like a brilliant idea. How smart are you? So smart. You're getting AI and you're getting, but in a way, it sort of sucked the juice out, sucked the creative element out. It's an interesting one. And then that lady who submitted the assessment, the girl, she would have gotten top marks, right? Probably top marks, but there was no hit. There was no sense of personal growth. Yeah, like it's like just So that's where I think the sweet spot is. It's like where that line will be, and how do we? I don't know the answers. I'm not sure. Because obviously I've got young children coming up. And I'm going to have to expose and educate them to these tools because it's a part of what's going to happen in the world. But I need, trying to work out, how does an aware entrepreneur, how do we bring them into that stuff? So it just in brief, what's your gut feeling? where do you think it's headed? Maybe 2 pitfalls you see and 2 like amazing things. That would be cool if you've got anything to share on that, Natalie. We'll go with you first.
Well, I don't think I've got anything on those points at all, because I haven't actually considered that. Because one of the people I'm following at the moment, she's connected to what she calls her own like business advisory that's incorporeal, so on the real spiritual level. And she's actually downloading her copy from that energetic space and typing it up and giving it to her team, and because she's got however many teams supporting her, and she goes, here's my copy. Place it X, Y, and Z, because she's got that direct connection to write all that. And I think that's really, really cool.
Well, that's essence. That's creative essence. That's connected.
So that's connected to me, and to me, that's where I want to go.
And you feel the AI usage can break that? Well,
I don't.
Or interfere with that?
Well, yes, but also for me, the question is, does AI fit into that system at all? It may do if you want to automate processing or posting or something, but in that creative space, to me, it doesn't have a place.
Gotcha. No, that's a valid, that's a very interesting and valid point.
But the conversation I was involved in this morning, talking about, the 15-year-old example, of her profile AI coming up with an assignment. To me, there's no learning. And how it relates to the conversation I was involved this morning was that I think Susan was alluding to John Azaraf, actually. I think that's who she was talking about, but she didn't actually mention him by name. Is that as you learn and change behaviours, it's important to celebrate. Celebration, at the appropriate level for all the things that you're doing, actually drives that new neural pathway. So that new experience, that new habit you want to create, the skill you want to improve, is to celebrate those small wins along the way.
Yeah, whereas if you're outsourcing that to AI, you're kind of not getting that essence.
You're not getting the journey, and therefore you're not getting the growth.
So Rich, with you talking about children, it's finding that balance so that they are getting something to celebrate. That's what triggered that thought process. For me is doing that, and I wasn't aware of that component about neural pathways until this morning. At least I don't think so. So that then gives me areas to explore on a whole lot of level. And at this point in time, like I say, for me, it's about developing the skills in business. What's good copy? What's not good copy? And where that journey takes me. And like I say, I really love the energetic stuff. That's my groove. And as soon as I heard this, that's how she does it, I've just gone, I want to be able to do that.
For sure. No, that's super cool. Nice perspective, valid perspective, interesting perspective. Thank you. Tanya, anything you want to sort of say in wrapping, where you think, where does the pendulum swing for you? What do you see as a couple of the major, I don't know, potential pitfalls, and where do you see a couple of the big opportunities?
So I'm hearing what Natalie is saying all over, though I'm going to sway this debate, really.
It's good.
It's debating you.
Cool.
I am hearing definitely from a child's perspective, there needs to be boundaries around that. But then with anything new, there's this stage of development and the unfolding of that development, not knowing where it's going to lead in the future, which for many creates uncertainty. And uncertainty is a scary thing for when you're facing with so much. Though it also makes me wonder, just like with technology and phones and laptops and, you know, everything, technology is pushing society and in all aspects too far to one side. And it can become very much a distraction. I'm really concerned, like I've got 3 nephews in one family who and their father they spend all their time on computers. They're lucky to get outside probably 40 minutes a day. Like, I see numerous young men, and it's not just young men. I know I've got brothers that are in the building trade where they go to work all week, come home and they sit on their computer games, killing each other just to de-stress. They think it's a de-stress. I'm like, oh. And some women join them in order to have a relationship with their partners. And then their children are modeling all that. So with AI, I don't know how, like, it's going to have good and bad. And yes, if we don't know how to self-manage and self-care, and if children are not taught the basic foundations of their well-being, how to maintain their well-being. But in saying that, this is where the debate part comes in. If you are mature enough to be able to maintain within reason what's right for you, then AI is definitely a benefit for someone like me with a creative mind that couldn't spit it out. Like, to do a brain dump, I would be doing a collage on a piece of cardboard, trying to dump everything, all my ideas, and trying to map it out and put it together like a maze. Whereas I just have to tell AI what I want, and it builds it for me. And if I don't like it, I say, let's go again.
Yeah, and that's
like, yeah,
that's right. Yeah, that's the
that to me is a reward.
Yeah, it's playing with it like a tool, like a palette of paints.
Like a collaboration.
You know, I think it's a combination of both of what you.
I never had that before in education, and then to actually experience that from a perspective now as a, you know, I'm a professional with that, because I tried to study at university, but because I'm dyslexic, there was no support in my generation. Even though they knew it, they couldn't offer me anything, so I had to go without. I've studied 6 years of education through back doors and still don't have a bachelor, but I still can't get the good paying job if I like go back to the work class, because I don't have the they changed the laws in 2012 and then again 2016 that you must have a bachelor degree to do what I want to do, and I can't. So I've tried, I've had jobs in similar, but not for, so now I'm overqualified. So it really sucks where here you've got a person from my generation with a learning disability. Well, I don't see it's not a learning disability. It's just I'm different. I have a creative mindset. I work from a different brain, part of the brain to others. And AI is now the tool that I use to benefit me in those areas that I never had before.
No, super valid. This is why we
interesting. Just
the iceberg.
I think something really interesting about this idea of collaborating with AI. One of the interesting things is when creative people collaborate with one another, often there's friction because they both sort of have an ego around you know what they're contributing, and then get defensive and sort of, and whereas with AI it doesn't have that measure of ego. It goes, okay, if that's what you want, yeah, let's do it that way. And it's a different dynamic, and yet it's still creative, and it's still very knowledgeable, ideally. It's very knowledgeable and can really bring useful skills and elements to what you're doing. So that's like you say, creative people. That's really useful. It's like a creative partner who doesn't have an ego, and that's pretty amazing.
But on the flip side, as we heard from Natalie and what I was putting forward, it's a creative partner if you can be using it from that space, or it can be a creative suck, like it can drain the creativity out of someone.
Oh, there's so many ways.
Like I started to find, like I was using it. I went through a phase where I started to really use it quite a bit on, and I actually stopped because I started to have this feeling where I was like, no, hang on, man. This, what's going on with just coming up with some of your, brilliant ideas. I kept kind of going to it. And I was like,
it's sort of like sucking the life out of you.
Yeah, so I banned myself from using it for a couple of weeks, which was frustrating on the surface. For stuff where I wanted to push the other methodology, meditation, going out of the river. My number one, clan work, bouncing off human beings that have got, in my humble opinion, like Natalie, you mentioned about your friend with the download. I think that's everyone's God-given right.
Yeah.
Every single one of us has, a connection to source of some kind, or to the AI, the great AI in the sky, right? But then it was like, okay, I can do that. Now I can come back and I can be more strategic about what I'm going to do with it. So I think it's just, there's no right or wrong. There's no, it's a play of the game. Work out what we've got to do, navigate, support each other in different ways of looking at it, and it's just with the stuff that's happening now. My thing now is I'm looking, the stuff I'm playing with is like stuff I started to show you there, right? Like, I get real busy, like we're building this thing so that, a plumber can be out in the job site, his phone is in the ute, or he doesn't want to deal with it because they don't often, a lot of the trades, or he presses a button going, I can't speak right now. And I think it's okay then, to use it as a tool from there, where it's like the AI will go, hey, sorry, Gary's busy. What's going on? Where do you live? What's your problem? Can I quit? And then Gary gets back to his ute, and there's his CRM pops up on his phone. It's like, oh shit, this thing's had a full. Oh shit, he's booked him for next week. This is his job. This is what he's. You know what I mean? Like, there'll be a rhyme and a reason for certain elements of it, but what a journey we're on is all I can say. I don't know how far I want to go down the AI persona stuff. Like, now that I'm talking to this other dude, that's crazy stuff. Like, that's like AI will, like, where you feed your entire self into it. So after you die, your family have a box on the table where they go, talk to you.
Your brain in a jar.
Oh,
like stuff like that. So, for example, that goes way beyond, like, there's a reason why the indigenous culture won't even show photos of people that pass away. I'm not going there now. We're wrapping the call now. But we're going to have some fun. Like, I'm really keen. Hopefully that lady joins, and the other guy.
Yeah, fascinating.
But what a beautiful,
amazing.
Amazing.
It's great to have. Especially you, Natalie. I feel like there's a really lovely counterpoint in what you've shared, and I think it's really valid. And and Tanya, your story is amazing in so many ways. And I feel like there's a bunch of things that you've shared that I'm going to be able to begin to use myself, that I think will be really helpful for me. In a similar way.
I was just thinking, maybe this is a watch this space idea. I keep coming up with these watch this space ideas.
Watch this space. This week's watch this space idea.
Yeah, so
Tanya.
I actually collected a whole number of AI tools in my kit that I haven't tried or played with.
Yeah,
it would be nice. I thought, I wonder if I could get a team just to like research these and source which ones are worthy and put them in a list. And so Dale Beaumont did this for his clients. He created a list of AI tools that you can delegate and cut your work to. That's where I started from. So it'd be really nice to like, maybe continue in this journey and watch this space and share some insights of what tools do work and what don't.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, because so much information about AI tools are just another sort of
Promotion.
sales thing that they can easily generate using AI.
Yeah. I do have a list already. So yeah, it'd be good if we could
Post and share here.
try one and come back. And what did you find?
Yeah, chuck it in there, I reckon, and let people have a look and a play. I'm gonna like at some point little class. It's like because he's just been so deep in it, and this other guy as well. But this topic's going to come around. I mean, we're in. It's the new industrial revolution. We're a part of it. We're on the fledgling stages. We're in the new entrepreneur tribe. We're going to need to be looking at how are we interfacing with these kinds of things within this particular kind of movement within business. It's going to be a unique perspective. And yeah, really cool. But no, great discussion, everyone. We'll put up some of the notes from it and the follow-ups and
that would be cool.
Yeah, 100%. Beautiful. Are you getting wild wind and weather up there, Tanya? No?
There was a little bit today, but it's gone now.
I just got a message. Like it's just something.
There's a storm coming, I think.
Something's hit here massive right now.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah. But beautiful. See you on Wednesday, Tanya. Natalie, awesome. So good to see you. And Martin, lots of love.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thanks so much.
Thank you,
Just
guys.
Thanks for a great day.
Just a quick note, I won't be able to make Tuesday morning, so you'll just see me Monday nights.
No worries. Perfect.
For probably the rest of the year. We'll see what happens after that.
Happy days.
No worries.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you, Natalie. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.